2 parts after first picking up the mysterious transmission. It was still going on without any noticeable loop, though. Whether it was due to being another language, interference, or both, it was incomprehensible to us. But that was just the beginning of the questions, and certainly not the biggest one, by far. Before whom it was and what they were saying, how it managed to be something that we were picking up here was almost an impossible idea to begin with. To get a perspective, receiving a short-form broadcast of any kind in this part of our moon, in your world, would be like picking up a child's toy walkie-talkie signal somewhere in the middle of Antarctica. That's why the signal we were receiving at the time made no sense. It had to be coming from something that was physically sending the signal, yet there were no data towers anywhere within range, and anything we would be receiving from aerial bouncers would be coming in on a different band. Obviously, we couldn't take a "that's impossible" approach, because it was most certainly possible. We were hearing the transmission bursts. And, because of the nature and strength of the signal, it was coming from someone or something that was many spans from anywhere we had previously navigated before, much less traveled or settled. Not to say that there aren't other divisions colonizing, as well as other moon-based operations that are remote stakes, with no intention of remaining here beyond the scope of their contracts. So there were definitely other people on the moon, besides those in our specific colony. But we always had a good idea of who they were, where they were, and what they were doing, in general, and there was nothing happening that we knew about that was even remotely close to this part of the moon. It wasn't even an initial thought to put this new discovery together with Crystal Plains culprits. That's how far removed we were from the top line at that point. Instinct in a situation like this is to send out 2 or 3 cruisers and spiral in on the source of the transmission. I was unable to do that, because I only had 1 jumper on board, and it takes at least 2 additional ships. The rest of the cruisers we had were scouts, and scouts are not permitted to fly inside of the Great Rift, as they are too small to fly safely through the terrible weather conditions here. Jumpers only do it when it's absolutely necessary. We actually debated sending a single scout out with the jumper, for just a short time, as some of the surrounding area was a bit more on the calm side. But sky spikes can form very quickly, and the geo-based anomalies, like crown saws and magmars, give little or no warning before they strike, especially in smaller ships with limited sensor capabilities. So, did we leave the area and return, hoping that the signal was still here? Or, should we send for another jumper, remaining here to monitor the signal, and try to pick it back up again if it became weaker, or was lost altogether? I wasn't going to be responsible for a single operator flying a scout within the Great Rift. It was a tough situation to be in, but that was not an option, even though it would easily be the quickest if it could be pulled off without incident. We were still debating the pros and cons of our options when word came from Combs that the signal had been lost. After a check on our end, it was a malfunction. Dana's team tried a few more things, but with no luck. The signal hadn't faded out. It had just stopped, and the reason for it could be a number of things. The simple fact was, something or someone was still out here, somewhere nearby, and now, with the loss of the signal, we had no way to even begin looking for them.